Hi, guys. Exciting news for season 4. The Thrive Tribe newsletter is for everyone and it's free.
To sign up for our newsletter and to get more out of Chasing Brighter and engage with our amazing community, go to chasingbrighter.com/newsletter to get the latest updates.
And every month we have freebies, so check it out.
Welcome to the Chasing Brighter podcast, the podcast created as a guide to make midlife the best life.
Are you ready to embrace the next chapter of your life with confidence and excitement? Your best life is just a listen away.
Gratitude is powerful, but it's even more transformative when we share it.
Today, we'll explore how gratitude strengthens our relationships and why expressing appreciation can be the glue that holds us together.
You know, we often think of gratitude as a private, internal practice, something we write in a journal or reflect on quietly. But what's so powerful is that when we say it out loud, it not only changes us, it changes the person we're speaking to.
Yeah, and it's wild how much impact that has, Jess. Expressing gratitude actually activates the brain's reward centers for both people involved. When you thank someone sincerely, their brain releases dopamine and oxytocin. That's the same chemical that fosters trust and bonding. And guess what? Yours does too when you express gratitude. It literally strengthens the biological levels in your body.
Yeah.
It's like this invisible current that flows between two people. A lot of our mind-body work say that we're all connected to this overall grid. And I always think about like our feet on the ground touching everything. And this is like, that is just even more powerful between two people. The giver feels lighter, more joyful, and the receiver feels seen and valued.
Yeah, that's so true. You know, I remember a time when expressing gratitude totally shifted a relationship for me. There was a friend I'd grown distant from. We hadn't had a big falling out or anything. We just kind of drifted apart. And one day I wrote her a message out of the blue, just saying how much her friendship had meant to me over the years, especially during a tough season in my life. And she replied almost immediately and said, "I didn't realize I made that kind of impact on you. I really needed to hear that today." And it opened the door for us to reconnect. And that one moment of appreciation brought warmth back into something that had really kind of gone quiet.
I love that, Jess. You know, I actually read a study from the University of Pennsylvania, and it looked at gratitude letters.
My alma
and
mater.
Participants write and deliver heartfelt letters of appreciation to someone they'd never properly thanked. And you know what happened? Those people experienced a huge boost in happiness and well-being, like measurable increases that lasted for weeks afterwards, which is crazy. So what's even more interesting about that is the recipients of those letters also reported higher levels of joy and motivation. So gratitude doesn't just make you feel better. It creates a ripple effect that keeps spreading. And I have to say that this is definitely something that if we think about it that way, that a little bit goes a long way, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's amazing how something that takes 2 minutes can have that much power. I think sometimes we overcomplicate connection, thinking it has to be these grand gestures, but often it's as simple as being intentional with our words. It reminds me, like, just super simple example. My son and his friends no longer go to Pinecrest and they have uniform clothes. And even though I have a lot of Dominic's uniform clothes, he's staying at his friend's house and the mom sent over all of these Pinecrest uniform clothes. And I look through it and Dominic never wore school sweatpants and that's all Giovanni wants to wear. And it was just like a bag of school sweatpants. And I was, and like, PE t-shirts. And I was like, oh my gosh, this was so perfect. I needed the stuff. And she just said she wasn't sure. She through Dominic said, "Oh, I don't know if Gio needs this, but you know, she can get away if she doesn't need it." And so it would have been on my mind to text her. And finally, I wanted to let her know. You know, so I sent her a message and said, "I just want to let you know, thank you so much for those clothes. Giovanni, we needed all of those clothes and it was so perfect for me." And she was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you could use it." And then she sent me like a Pinecrest mom shirt, and it's so cute. It was like a size small, and it was so cute. Like, that's not going to fit me. And so then I spread the love even more. And there's a mom at baseball, and I brought it to her, and I said, hey, do you want this Pinecrest? It was really cute. It was like hot pink. It said Pinecrest mom. And she was like, oh my God, that's so cute. So anyway, just like how you can kind of spread it, right? It was just simple text just saying, thanks so much. I needed it, but I didn't overthink it, you know?
Exactly. That's amazing, Jess. That is a really great example. So listeners, if you're wondering other ways to get this started, there's some easy things that you can just build into your life. Like Jess said, a quick text message of gratitude to a friend, even if it's at dinner, just saying thank you to family or friends, just taking that moment and being intentional about it, like Jess said.
Yeah.
Maybe even a weekly gratitude letter to a teacher or a coworker. You know, I think about this as, even for me for work, we use Teams, which was like instant messenger. And for those Gen Xers out there, it's like the new AOL, but I'm sure you all use Teams anyway. So, but you know, I send a shout out to my team every so often because I think we get, you know, caught up into the daily doldrums of work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we forget to really practice that gratitude to the people we work with. But also really voicing gratitude in real time. Thank you. You really helped me. I appreciate you. You made my day. Letting people know that, because now we know, based on, you know, the science behind it, is that not only are you helping yourself by sharing that, and it helps you feel good and gives you a boost, it gives the receiver a boost.
Yeah. You know what's interesting as we're talking about it, and I have a lot of work to do. I'm not saying I'm this developed human, but this is something that's like important to me. And I try to, for my partner, I have a, you know, very, very active husband.
It's like your love language kind of thing,
and
Jess?
Well, that I just am like, I just want to let you know, I see you. I really appreciate you doing this. I try to, like, he does the laundry in our house, or when he cooks, you know, I really appreciate it. Or I'll try to, like, if I'm thinking, send him a text. My oldest child is very helpful around the house. Thank you so much. I see everything you're doing. I really appreciate it. For mom and dad, thank you so much. And then telling my kids, hey, did you tell that person? Thank you. And, you know, so maybe that's why I'm more of a joyful person. I don't know. Do you feel like you're grateful?
Yeah, I think it's a great point. I do truly believe expressing appreciation, gratitude, it's just like sharing kindness.
Yeah.
And we all could use as much as possible right now too.
Yeah.
And I just really feel like it helps keep everyone motivated. I know that with work, when I send it, I don't really get a lot of feedback, but I just really try to send that vibe out to the universe too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I think, because I know we talk a lot about growth mindset, I think it's very aligned with how do you flip the script on looking at things. And with this episode in particular, when it comes to connection with others, you know, we're just thinking about it instead of just saying thanks, right? Say why we're thankful, right? Instead of saying like, oh, thanks, someone hands you something, right? Like, thank you for taking the time to give me that napkin. Thank you for taking the time, whatever. Thank you for listening without trying to fix it. I appreciate how patient you are with me. And that is what makes me feel seen, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's, you know, I totally agree. It tells somebody like, I noticed you matter. And we
Being
all need to
specific.
hear that more often.
Yeah.
You know, I don't do it often enough. One of the things I think about is with the kids' coaches, where I do try to make an intentional effort to say that. Maybe it's during the season. I even sent an email to the staff at the Beckett Soccer Club saying that. I really feel like I was kind of disappointed I didn't get anything back from them. Like, hey, thanks.
Yeah.
Since it was a heartfelt communication. But I think just giving, right? It helps. Sometimes it helps me with my anxiety, in that, like, everything that's going on and I'm like so focused on all these things, but it's like, stop for a moment and I can take a moment to practice that gratitude and share that with other people. I think for teachers too, you know, it's like a lot of people, like, I think about teachers and I think, oh my gosh, I got to get my gift card, or oh, I got to do this or that. Sometimes they just, a simple thank you. And like you were saying, the specificity of it so that they know like what they're doing, they feel, you know, you recognize and it matters.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, sometimes we hesitate to say those things because it feels awkward. Maybe it makes us feel vulnerable. But the truth is, gratitude is a form of vulnerability. It's letting someone know that they've touched your heart. And when we do that, that is how we strengthen those connections in ways that last far beyond the moment. Even an example, you talked
Yeah.
about sports. Giovanni joined club ball with his best friend, and his best friend's mom, my friend, um, she's a busy single mom, and she's always like, I can get your son. She puts herself out here on how she can help. And she was going to pick up Giovanni, but the game changed, and mom and dad were able to take Giovanni. But I just said, I just want to thank you for always being there and being willing to help us. And I really appreciate that, and I think, and then she does the same for me. And I think that has strengthened our connection.
That's awesome. Yeah. And, our wonderful, amazing listeners, maybe this week, try one of these small acts. Send that text, write that note to say thank you to someone, and notice how it feels in your body when you do.
Yeah. We have our journal prompt for today. When you have a moment, you can think about this, you can journal it, write it, put it in notes of your phone, voice memos, and think about, who has impacted your life recently that you haven't thanked yet. And when you get a moment, write them a note or at least a sentence. And in your journal, you can really list what you appreciate most about that person. As we close today's conversation, I just keep thinking about how powerful it is that something as simple as thank you can create such a deep shift inside of us and between us. Like you were saying with that study, not just the recipient, but also the person saying thank you, just how it changes us physically. And gratitude has this quiet magic. It softens hard edges, mends distance, and reminds us that even in a world that's moving fast, connection is still what matters most.
So true. And the other thing about gratitude is it's active. It's not just a feeling, it's a practice. It's choosing to notice the people who show up for you, to acknowledge the small acts of kindness and speak those words out loud. And when you do, we give people the gift of being seen, and we give ourselves the gift of perspective, which is awesome.
And it's such a good reminder that connection doesn't always come from grand gestures. We love the idea of glimmers and micro joys and micro things, right? Because connection is built in little moments, texting a friend out of the blue, saying, I appreciate you. Giving that genuine compliment you thought but almost didn't say. Those are the moments that stitch our relationships together.
And when we make gratitude part of our daily rhythm, it starts to ripple outwards. It changes the way we show up for our partners, our kids, our colleagues, our friends, and it invites more empathy and patience because we start noticing effort instead of just outcomes.
Exactly. Gratitude turns relationships into mirrors of appreciation rather than expectations. It transforms why don't they into I love that they do. So as you move through this week, I'd love for you to try one small act of express gratitude. Maybe it's writing a note to someone who shaped your life. Maybe it's a quick voice memo to a friend, or maybe it's just pausing at dinner to tell someone why they matter to you.
And, even if it feels uncomfortable, just start small. Gratitude doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real and authentic. The right words don't matter as much as the sincerity behind them.
Let's take a moment to reflect before we wrap up. Think of one person who has made your life a little lighter, a little easier, a little more beautiful. Picture their face. Notice what comes up in your heart when you think about them. That feeling, that's the ripple. That's the connection. That's the connection gratitude builds.
If you feel inspired, send this episode to a friend and let them know, because when gratitude moves from our thoughts and our words to showing legs, it moves, it multiplies, it's that ripple effect, and we become a movement.
That's what this month is about, right? Honoring our journey and the people who have walked parts of it with us.
Thanks for walking beside us along our side. Thank you for listening, for reflecting, and just being a part of our community.
Gratitude is contagious. So start your ripple today. You never know how far it will reach.
Don't forget to grab your gratitude download at chasingbrighter.com, and you can get that by signing up for our newsletter.
Until next time, take a moment to pause, to notice, and to say thank you out loud, because gratitude spoken is love multiplied.
Thanks for listening today.
If you loved today's episode, share with a friend.
Are you ready to chase brighter days ahead? Subscribe to Chasing Brighter now, and let's embark on this exciting journey together.